Hello everyone, my name is Jimmy. Welcome to The Last Lap. In today's video, we're going to be doing our first race preview of the season. NASCAR racing is finally back. We're going to talk about the Clash, but we're also going to talk about a lot of news that came out regarding NASCAR rules changes. But before we hop into this video, just a reminder, guys, hit that like button and subscribe button. We greatly appreciate it if you did that. And you can also check out our social media pages, which are linked in the description. But let's go ahead and hop into the video. We have a lot of NASCAR rule changes to talk about today, so let's go ahead and get started. Matthew, my friend and co-host, is joining me on the show as always. So, Matthew, how's it feel to be back talking about cars on the track for the first time in 2023?
Man, you have no idea how long I've been waiting for you to say that. Cars are back on track this year for the first time this year. And man, I've been waiting all week for this moment. And man, there's gonna be there's a lot of new headlines. There's a lot of stories that are gonna go into that race, and I think we're gonna have ourselves a great race this weekend.
All right, so like I said before, we hop into the preview talking about the Clash this weekend. There's a lot of rules changes NASCAR announced. So I'm gonna run through these as quick as I can and give my opinion on these as quick as I can, so we can get to talking about the Clash. So NASCAR, they came out. They said they're going to ban the Hail Melon move that Ross Chastain used at Martinsville last fall. They said that if somebody tried to do it, then there will be a time penalty, and it's under an existing rule about safety. And there's two sides to every story. Everybody's like, "Oh man, that was such a cool move." Like, we want to see that more often. We want to see drivers do whatever it takes to get the win or get the final playoff spot, or a point to get to the next round or something like that. But I do think NASCAR did make the right call here in the safety aspect of things, because Ross Chastain, he was going like twice the speed of everybody else at Martinsville. And, there's a gate intern for the opens and closes. If that wasn't closed right, he could have ran right into it and destroyed the car. He could have ran into the back of somebody. Like, it was dangerous. So I think NASCAR made the right decision here. But people are they're only talking about Ross Chastain. Kyle Larson did this last year in 2021 at Darlington, and also Sheldon Creed did it at Darlington too. Nobody's talking about them, I guess, because they weren't successful at it. But yeah, NASCAR decided to ban that move. Justin Marks, he did tweet that they're going to preserve the car, even though it will be very cost defective to them, because he said that 90% of the car is still usable, but they're going to go ahead and preserve the car, keep it for a historic piece of memorabilia. There we go. Wow, I can't talk today. But yeah, I love that they're keeping the car. Hopefully so people can see it. So I'd love to see it someday. Another piece of another rules change is stage cautions are going to be eliminated at road courses. I think there's only two exceptions for Truck and Xfinity if they're standalone events, and I think that's just because they're not going to have like their full pit crew there or something like that, and they might have to do like the mandatory pit stops, and I'm assuming that's why they're doing it for those. But anyways, I think this is a great call. A lot of fans have been wanting to see this for a while. The stages, road courses would always be, as soon as like two to go in the stage, everybody would pit, and then the caution would come out. It would just be pointless. It would just get in the way of the race. So I like this. No stage cautions. You still award the stage points. There might still be some strategy revolving around the stage, like points and win and stuff, but it's not going to be around a caution at least. So I do like this. A lot of people have been begging for this. It finally happened. I think super speedways should be the next thing to not get the stage caution, but we'll have to see how that goes as well. Well, I don't know actually, because like the super speedways, like when they're coming to the end of the stage, it gets really exciting. So I don't know. I don't think I want I think I still want the stage cautions to come out of super speedways, because it creates a lot, like, nobody's just single file for the whole race. It makes it more interesting. There was another announcement for a penalty for losing a tire that was reduced. It was 4 race suspension last year, I think, and then like the crew chief was fined, and it was a lot of stuff going on. But that is now reduced. So if the tire is lost on pit road under caution, you just go to the end of the rear. If you lose a tire on pit road under green, you have to do a pass-through penalty. and if you lose a tire beyond pit road, so if you lose it on the racetrack, it'll be a 2 lap penalty and a 2 race suspension for 2 crew members. I definitely think this is a smart adjustment because last year the penalty was just way too much. Suspending pit crew members, the crew chief, for several races, not only 2 races. I think that's a lot better, and I kind of like it that it's not as bad if it's like under caution or on pit road. I like that. I know it's still dangerous if somebody loses a tire on pit road, but I like that it's not. It doesn't end the driver's race if they lose a wheel under caution. So I do like that adjustment. Another adjustment is the damaged vehicle policy that was moved from 6 to 7 minutes. It was 10 in the playoffs. They bumped it up to 10. I still think the damaged vehicle policy is pointless, in my opinion. I know they're trying to prevent cars from going to the garage and not driving around with a hood on or anything like that. But I think the damaged vehicle policy needs to be modified. That's all I'll say about that. I don't. It's good that they improved it, but it should be like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, something. I don't know. 6 to 7 or 10 is not enough in my opinion. But another cool announcement is rain tires. So these tracks will have rain tires if needed. The Clash, IRP, Martinsville, the Milwaukee Mile, New Hampshire, North Wilkesboro, Phoenix, and Richmond. Bristol and Dover are not on the list, probably because those are very banked tracks. So all of these tracks are under a mile and they are very flat. So very good that we have some rain tires. Now, obviously, they're not going to go out and race in the pouring rain and just throw rain tires on and say, "Have at it, boys." Obviously, it can't be pouring rain and there can't be standing water on the track. But this just makes it a lot easier. So if the track is just wet and there's no rain, no standing water, the cars can just jump out there and run laps instead of have to worry about making the track completely dry. So I do like that we finally have rain tires. I'd be interested to see how they work, honestly. You never really wish for rain, but if rain does come to one of these smaller tracks, I'd be excited to see how well the rain tires work. So another rules change is regarding the eligibility for the playoffs in all 3 series. There's no requirement. You don't have to be in the top 30 in points for Cup. You don't have to be in the top 20 in points for Xfinity and Trucks if you get a win to be eligible for the playoffs. So if you run all the races in the regular season and you win a race, no matter where you are in points, you can end up winning. So you could have a Cody Ware, a Corey LaJoie, BJ McLeod, Ty Dillon. You could have any of those guys win a race and get in the playoffs. So, you know, I don't know. Like, I'm slowly starting to get on the train of not necessary. I like the playoff format. I just don't like that there's 16 drivers in it. Like, I feel like you should be able to perform in the regular season and perform well, and it should be like not easy to get into the playoffs. I think there should probably be like 10 spots in the playoffs, and the best 10 in the regular season get to go to the playoffs or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, hopefully this doesn't really need to come into effect. There have been a few instances where drivers have won like rain shortened races, like Eric Almirola won at Daytona, Justin Haley won at Daytona. Um, Chris Buescher won at Pocono, I think it was. So I don't know. I don't like this, but hopefully we never really have to talk about it. And the final rules change is that the choose rule is in effect for super speedways and dirt races. So, for super speedways, I don't really know how I feel about it. I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference, but I feel like if it's like a late race restart, like everybody's just going to line up with who they want to line up with, and they're just going to push the whole time, and it's not really going to get dicey, and people aren't going to make passes and stuff. But I don't know. Maybe it still will be like that. Dirt races, I mean, dirt races are a wild card anyway, so I guess it's cool that they get to choose what lane they want to restart in, unless they have to do single file restarts due to wet conditions. So that's all of the NASCAR rule changes. But I do quickly, well, I guess I can save this for our final thought of the video. We can talk about something else. But yeah, those are all of the rule changes. So Matthew, what do you like and dislike about some of these changes that NASCAR announced for this season?
Well, that is a lot of rule changes. I pretty much like almost all of them, to be honest. I will start off with the Hail Melon rule of that move being banned, as much as I love seeing that in person, well, you and I got to saw this iconic moment in person, which I will remember for the rest of my life. As special as that was, I wanted to be keep it special. So I'm glad they actually did this move because we all know, probably in the springtime in Martinsville, there was already some guys thinking about doing on the last lap or the playoffs next year. So this year. So I'm glad they did this move, and that means this move is going to just remain special because no one's going to do this move. But if someone does, then it won't be that special because they'll get a penalty for that. So glad they made that change. Let's see. I mean, man, there's already. What was the second one you said?
Let me see.
There's so many
Stage
changes.
stage cautions.
Okay, stage cautions or road courses being eliminated. Yes, thank you. I'm so glad they did this change as well because look, I don't have a problem with stage caution, stage racing in general. I don't have a problem with it. To be honest, it's kind of beneficial for fans, because during when the caution's going to come on, if you need to go to the bathroom during the race, then there's your perfect time right there. So I personally don't mind it. My only thing with stage calls is that I thought it was supposed to be to get all your commercials in during it, but apparently every 5 laps they still bring a commercial in, so that kind of defeats the purpose. But anyways, the road stage cautions on road courses perfect because the road courses those cautions take forever. So I'm just glad they finally did that. Um, Trying to think it through. Okay, the loose wheel penalties. I'm glad that the crew chief is now not going to get suspended from it. For me, it made absolutely no sense why the crew chief will be suspended from this because the crew chief has nothing to do with it. It's the people that are putting the tire on the race car, the tire changers. But glad they made that change. Let's see. Okay, the rain tires on short tracks now, or flat ovals, I should say. Not Bristol and Martinsville. Not Bristol and Dover. That would be interesting to see, but that would be an absolute disaster. But I'm looking forward to see, if that does happen. I mean, it'd be cool if you and I got to saw this at Martinsville in the spring. So that would be interesting. I'm hoping it doesn't become a wreck fest. I just hope, these drivers will take it easy the first few laps with these wet tires on oval. So yeah, looking forward to that. Um, the did the change. What is it? The choosing what lane you want to be on super speedways in the dirt that doesn't make a lot of difference in my opinion. I guess on super speedways, if you have a teammate, that does help, but other than that, it doesn't really make a difference to me. All right, about this. Okay, now the one that I'm not gonna say I don't like it. I'm just on the part of it. That's the whole top 30 thing, being eliminated basically. By the way, BJ McLeod will still not be eligible for the playoffs if he wins because Josh Bilicki is also going to be driving that 78 car. So, yeah, BJ McLeod will still not be qualified, but Cody Ware still is. But look, I don't see this ever really playing out unless it's a super speedway and it starts raining basically, and somehow there's a big wreck and Cody Ware's in the lead. So yeah, and I don't think people should really worry about this. I don't really see this like coming into play, to be honest. It's we've seen Chris Buescher winning in the fall. We've seen Justin Haley surprise win at Daytona, but I mean, that's like once in a rare occasion. It doesn't happen like once a year. So, in my opinion, it doesn't really make it much of a difference. So, I wouldn't worry about too much. Um, is there any others I'm missing?
Uh, the damaged vehicle policy. I think that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't, I like, look, I think we should have a damaged vehicle policy, in my opinion, because it keeps not having too many debris cautions. I remember back in the day there were so many debris cautions, and with this policy now, I feel like we have decreased those debris cautions. I mean, there's gonna be still debris here and there, but it's not as frequent as it was back then because you know we're not letting all these torn up race cars on back on the racetrack 100 some laps down slowing the whole field. So personally I like it, but that's just me.
All right. So, thankfully, while you were talking, I was able to find the schedule for the Clash. So, let me see. So, Saturday practice opens 6 o'clock. There'll be three different practice sessions, and then 8:30 Saturday night will be qualifying for the Clash. That will set the qualifying heats, which start at 5 p.m. on Sunday night. And let me see. The Clash, the total field, will have 27 cars, the top five from each of the four heats. And then there will be the top three from each of the two last chance qualifiers. So there'll be four heat qualifying heat events. The top five from each of those will go on. And then the top two last chance qualifying races, the top three from each of those, that makes 26. And then there's 1 points provisional. So that's 27 cars in the Clash. I don't know why that seems like a lot more than last year. I don't know. It just feels like 27 cars on a quarter mile track. Like, oh my
I
gosh, that
think
just,
last year it was 21 cars, so it's basically like 5 6 more cars basically.
yeah, it just seems like a lot for that small of a track. But yeah, 27 cars. We're just going to give you guys one pick for this week because we don't, the official fantasy doesn't start until Daytona. So we're just going to give you guys just one pick each and then get on out of here. So for me, my pick, I think it's going to be pretty hard to beat the defending winner of this race, Joey Logano. I think he's going to be very hard to beat. So he's going to be my pick to win the Clash. He's last year he was really good at the smaller oval tracks, and obviously he won this race last year. So I'm gonna go with Joey Logano. That's my pick to win the Clash. Matthew, who's your pick?
All right, who's gonna win the 2023 Clash at the Coliseum? For me, I'm going to go with someone that looked really good last year, but unfortunately did not finish the race. My pick for this year's Clash is going to be Tyler Reddick. I think Tyler Reddick is going to open. He's going to be making his 2311 debut in the 45 car. If you've seen that money line paint scheme, that paint scheme looks amazing. I think he's going to bring that car to victory lane, and it's going to be a great start to this season for Tyler Reddick and his new team. So that's who I got. And last year he led basically like the first like 20 30 laps of it. He looked really good, but unfortunately he had mechanical failure, so that's why he didn't win that race. But yeah,
Yeah, I forget. Like there were a lot of cars that had issues in the Clash last year, so I'm excited to see. Hopefully, it's
well,
a
that
lot.
was the inauguration of the next gen car too. So that's when NASCAR was like, there's still some bugs.
Yeah, hopefully this year there aren't that many problems with the cars, so we're, more cars are able to stay in the race for longer. I'm very excited to see how the Clash plays out for the second one. I think it's gonna be even better than the inaugural race. But really quick, just a closing thought, piece of news that I wanted to talk about before we wrap the video up is revolving around Christopher Bell. So he announced, well, didn't really announce. He said on a podcast slash video chat slash live stream with another person that Joe Gibbs is not allowing him to race in dirt until further notice. So this is another very, as another piece of news following on Joe Gibbs Racing, they had Kyle Busch last year, everything that happened with him. Denny Hamlin, he's in the middle of contract negotiations and stuff like that. Now you have Christopher Bell, that he honestly did not seem very happy saying that on the live stream, that he's not allowed to race dirt. Apparently, he just got his own dirt team. So, Joe Gibbs Racing, I think they're in a little bit of identity crisis right now. Unfortunately, what happened, last year in November, and it was very sad. I know that they're still trying to get through that, and obviously everybody respects their privacy going around that. But Denny Hamlin, he sent out a tweet saying that he missed J.D. Gibbs right after the whole Martinsville incident with Ty Gibbs. So, and then JD, he unfortunately passed away several years ago. So Joe Gibbs Racing, I think they're in a little bit of an identity problem right now, trying to figure out who they are as a company and all that stuff. I obviously hope and wish the best for them. They're a great company. Love Joe Gibbs. I've met him several times at Richmond, so hopefully they can figure everything out there. But specifically talking about Christopher Bell, you know, I like people are gonna say he has the right to race and to do what he wants, and that is 100% fair. And Joe Gibbs, he also has an obligation to keep his driver in the best physical shape possible and all of that stuff, because he's invested several dollars into Christopher Bell, and apparently there's sponsors there that are still there only because of Christopher Bell. So if something happens to Christopher Bell, they might lose sponsorship and all that stuff, and obviously they're losing a very young and good talent in Christopher Bell, who just came off a really good season last year. So I'm very back and forth. Do you let Christopher Bell race? Do you not let him race? I really don't know. I think I'm like 51% let him race, 49% don't let him race. So I'm like barely on Christopher Bell's side here. I mean, Kyle Larson, when he came to Hendrick Motorsports, Rick Hendrick was like, okay, do what you want. You can race dirt and all that kind of stuff. And he went on and won the championship in his first season with Hendrick Motorsports. So I don't know. I think it gives him a little extra practice, a little extra motivation. Confidence and momentum is a very big thing. So if you do good in one race, pop over to the Cup Series, do good in the Cup Series, and maybe win a few races. So I think I'm just a little bit on the side if you gotta let Christopher Bell do what he wants to do. But I know that was a tiny bit of a rant. But Matthew, do you have any quick thoughts about that before we go ahead and finish this video up?
So to go on what you said there, I mean it's just okay. Everyone should remember back then when basically Hendrick absolutely did not like when any of his drivers raced anything else but the Cup Series. Doesn't matter if it was Xfinity, truck, dirt, IndyCar, whatever. He did not like it when his drivers raced in lower series. But when Kyle Larson came in, it, Rick Hendrick changed his mind. Like he was okay with letting Larson. Next, you're starting to see that with Larson wanting to race all the time, it actually changed the culture of Hendrick Motorsports. Now you see William Byron racing late model races frequently. So does Chase Elliott. And also you see Alex Bowman doing dirt races as well. And I feel like that whole culture at Hendrick Motorsports has changed because of Kyle Larson with his with him wanting to race all the time basically. And Joe Gibbs Racing needs to let Christopher Bell do that. Look, you can't tell a race car driver, hey, you can't race. You just can't do that. And look, I get that there's the whole, oh, he's trying to protect his driver. Well, like, guess what? Christopher Bell has done these dirt races for a very long time. He knows the risk of it. He's been there, done that. He's a grown man. He should be able to say, okay, look, I feel perfectly fine. I'll just let me race. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. You don't want to see Christopher Bell leave Joe Gibbs Racing. Maybe he'll probably go to 2311. They'll definitely let him race dirt there, but yeah, they'll get that sorted out because you can tell by Christopher Bell's face he did not look happy at all about it. And yes, he's on a multi-year agreement, but I mean, when that contract comes up, he's like, "Hey, you won't let me race dirt. Why should I stay here?" So they hopefully they change their mind about it. I mean, I remember a few years ago when Kyle Busch he had a Indy 500 ride all set of sponsors and everything, but Joey had said no, and basically that blew away an Indy 500 opportunity a few years ago. Now that it's with Chevy, hopefully he does that now. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. It's just a mess.
All right, well, that is going to go ahead and wrap up this video. We hope you guys enjoyed it. A lot of talk about rule changes. I have 7 rule changes on here, and of course the drama going around with Christopher Bell and Joe Gibbs Racing. So let us know what you guys think of all these rule changes down in the comment section below. Let us know who you guys think is going to win the Clash first race of the season. We're glad we're back bringing you all this content. We're ready to get the season started. So make sure you like and subscribe to the video. We're going to be doing this all season long. But until the next time, we'll see you guys in the next video.